Hello everybody, welcome to Cape Rugby TV. Wednesday night, we talk about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Very exciting. Friendlies are rolling out at the moment. Stormers are busy playing. The referees are in action. We've got women's rugby coming up. What more do you want in the world of community sport? Well, maybe a little bit of pro sport, and as I mentioned, that's what's coming up now. Every week we take a look at the DHL Stormers behind the scenes, exclusive footage. You wouldn't be able to get it anywhere else, so you've got to tune in every Wednesday night and find out what the DHL Stormers are up to. Big thanks to our official partners, Hisense, on board with Cape Rugby TV as the official technical partner, MChem 24-hour Pharmacy, Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road, and of course Score Energy Drinks. As you know, you can win yourself a case of Score a little bit later. Yep, there's Dulux Maitland behind me now. Specialist Paint Centre. Just look for that shop just over Fort Checker Road into Coburg Road. Let me introduce you to my panel this evening before I tell you what's on the show tonight. Jerome Paardewater. Jerome, nice to have you back. We missed you last week.
Yeah, JP, it feels like a while back, but back again. So just had something to do last week, so I couldn't come. But I don't like to miss the show, but unfortunately I had to.
Yeah, but you've become like a household name, you know, so we're obviously nervous when you're not around. But talking about household names, Danny Jones. Danny, nice to have you back.
Good to be back, JP. Good evening, viewers. It's great to be here. So, and as you know, there's nothing better than Cape Rugby TV.
Well, you're also like a household name, but also a household face, because we see you on TV almost every Saturday. We're next to the tunnel when the Stormers run out.
Well, then I'm doing the match manager role that's assigned to me.
You're obviously happy with the result. Stormers pulling over a nice win there over the Sharks over the weekend.
Well, if I put on my neutral hat as the match manager...
Are you not allowed to be... Must you be neutral?
Only during the game.
Only
But post the game, no. Back to Western Province, yeah.
That's
and
fantastic.
Stormers rugby.
But anyway, that was a great result, and we'll be speaking to Herschel Janchis as well as Sergio Peterson and Dan du Plessis a little bit later during the course of the show, so make sure that you don't go anywhere. This weekend, we went out to Police, to Pinelands. Police, of course, had a rugby day there. They played against, Police were up against SK Warmers. Police also played against False Bay, so we got a little bit of a look there at the Police side, as well as SK Warmers. SK Warmers played a friendly against Rawsonville, so we've got 2 or 3 teams there to take a look at, just to get a slight indication of where they're at the moment. We'll ask Coach Jerome Paardewater to take a look at the performance. Police coach Christian Jarvis, we'll catch up with him in the interviews. The captain Randolph Alexander, SK Warmers coach Phil Cronje, as well as their captain Tariq Davids. And as you know, we are, of course, busy with highlighting many of the teams that are busy with the pre-season training. And this week we went out to catch up with Kraaifontein. Tyrone Steer is a prop forward at Kraaifontein. And of course, Keith Tinnison is the head coach at Kraaifontein. So all that is coming up still during the course of the show. Remember, don't go away, because a little bit later in the show, I'm going to give you an opportunity to win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks. Tonight, we'll also talk about women's rugby and the referees course that was recently held at Newlands. But now, let's catch up with our first game of the weekend. It was Police up against SK Warmers. Second side. as always, a little bit of rugby action there. This is, of course, the Western Province Police side. So I think Danny, that falls within the police structures where they play against each other?
It does fall within the police structure. As I said last week, JP, that the police rugby club and the police authorities are wanting to throw their weight behind the bobbies again. So this is part of the project to get police men and women back into the club and strengthen the club.
So I'm assuming that some of those guys that we just saw play now, they might play in the league. They might move around a little bit.
Yes, there could well be a few players that's sitting somewhere in Paarl or Stellenbosch and those places, as well as Cape Town, of course.
Jerome, let's talk about the rugby. We're also going to look at the bobbies, which are, of course, the police's main side, which is playing, of course, in the Western Province structures. Of course, police are playing in the City League this year. Looking at the game there, SK Warmer's second side, though, your feeling on that?
Yeah, I was actually, it's good for SK Warmers to test their depth against police, their first side sort of, but I think it was mostly, as we look now, it was pretty much dominated by police in mainly up front. So SK had a few chances, but I think I don't know if it was the first half that we were watching now, but I think police were in control.
Yeah, at the moment we're just taking a look at a couple of highlights from both, in fact, with the next few games as well, with the Bobbies and with SK Warmers first side playing against Rawsonville. We're just looking at the highlights. Because in fact, what we did find out is the guys were not scoring. Well, they were scoring, but they were not. They didn't look for a result, so there was no results posted. So it was really just a testing field for everybody.
Yeah, that's also good. So that's pre-season, so it's good. I don't think the score matter, but the most important thing for the coaches there, as I say, it's good for SK to see who they've got, because the league is still long, to test their depth, and police also to see where they are. So it's good if they don't worry too much about the score.
Well, at the moment, I think that this is just a test run for them. So we're still going to look at Police's first side in a second, the actual main side. They played against the False Bay fourth side, so make sure that you stay tuned. Remember, folks, if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, then all you need to do is SMS the word SCORE to 33090, 33090. Get your mobile phone handy and SMS the word SCORE to 33090. After the break, we will tell you who last week's winners were. When we come back from the break, we'll take a look at Police up against SK, at least Police up against False Bay, as well as the SK Warmers first side. They played against Rawsonville over the weekend. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. Remember, if you do miss the show, you can find us on YouTube or on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. But try not to miss the show every Wednesday from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and the repeat on Saturday morning from 9 to 10. Right, as I mentioned earlier on, we were, of course, at Pinelands over the weekend, where we managed to catch up with quite a few of the friendlies being hosted on one field. Our next game of the weekend, Police were up against, they call themselves the Bobbies. They were up against False Bay's fourth side. Now, of course, you must understand, False Bay, of course, a Super League A team, and Police are a City League team. So probably quite a fair matchup. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that match. Welcome back, everybody. Of course, that was Police up against False Bay. Let's quickly take a look at the Super League, at least the City League log. Of course, we don't have log results yet, but let's take a quick look at the league, just so you have an idea who Police are playing against. Silvertree, Hamadia's Perseverance, Western Zebras, Temperance Cities, Progress, Young Ideas, Cali's Watsonia, Deputy Gardens, Massey, and of course Violets. So now you have a rough idea who Police are going to be up against. They're not playing against False Bay in Super League A, but that was a friendly warm-up game. Jerome, just looking in terms of the competition there between the two sides, I don't know, I wouldn't really say they were evenly matched. False Bay certainly looked like they had good running rhythm, but a good test for Police.
Yeah, I must say that so that centre scored 2 tries, quite strong runner. And I think the Police, they done pretty much their work there. Was a good test for them. Because that False Bay team, though it was their fourth team, was a strong team. But I think they stood up. I expected a bit more from False Bay, but I think Police did well. And False Bay scored 2 tries, but mainly up front. So that was a good test for Police.
Yeah. Danny, in terms of False Bay, they will be happy with the fact that they're busy testing their depth. Fourth team, third team, second, and so on. Yeah.
For sure, JP. You know, they're in Super League A. And in Super League A, your club is not necessarily just looking at the first team, but it's the depth. And they're one of the bigger clubs that we have in the union. And they're doing well, and it's good for them to see, because they're always phoning us with reference are their matches for their 5th team and their 4th team, and their reserves and all those things.
When do those guys generally play? I know you guys have got certain names for these leagues.
Look, the reserve league normally plays on a Friday.
What is the reserve league for the folks, for the moms and dads that have just tuned in?
The reserve leagues are clubs. Firstly, are teams from clubs who have a 4th team and a 5th team.
Okay.
Remember, the 4th team by us are the under 20s.
All right.
So then you have teams like in the 4th teams, 5th teams that's not under 20s, and they normally play socially. While they play socially, the league is still very competitive.
Yeah.
And so they play on a Friday night or Saturday, early Saturdays, depending on the availability of fields.
Right, folks, let's catch up with Police coach Christian Jarvis.
Bietjie taaf en as sien as fitness levels is nog nie wat moet wees nie. Men is nog besig om te werk aan kombinasies by nuwe spelers ingekry. So ja, ons werk nog aan nuwe kombinasies en ons kyk vorentoe na die volgende paar vriendskaplike wedstryde om die kombinasies uit te sorg. As jy sien ons het by nuwe spelers ingekry, veral is dit 'n hele klomp African players ingekry om so te sê, maar dis manne met talent. Man het nie die size maar het die talent en ek dink as jy hard genoeg is, dan groot genoeg om die game te speel. Ja, jy maak hier die ouer spelers om leiding te vat. Met die nuwe spelers, verstaan, nuwe spelers bietjie vinnig, maar jy maak hier hy leiding. Daar's 'n hele paar spelers, veral nuwe spelers. Ons kyk na ons agter, ons kyk na ons fullback, ons wings en ons flyer veral. Ouens het hulle hande opgesteek het. So ouens verdien 'n kans, maar soos ek sê, aan die volgende paar vriendskaplike wedstryde sal ons kyk wat ons beste kombinasies is. Ek sê ons het laas het ons uitgemis in die om op te gaan in die top. Ons het top 9 gespeel, ons het uitgemis, maar dia dink ek as ons 'n meer volwasse span, ouens het nou die ondervinding, so ons hoop om mee kon op die taak.
All right, there. Welcome back, everybody. Of course, Coach Christian Jarvis, just with a little catch-up with there at Police, and he's going to have. Would you say Jerome's going to have his hands full, or is it? Would you say Police are on a system that the coaching is reasonably comfortable?
Look, he's a new coach, so he's definitely gonna have his hands full, because he needs to put proper systems in place now, but they have a wide variety to get the right players in, and if he creates a right environment for guys to see that the structures are in place, and they will join, because the police can take anybody who is in the police force which they want, though they're also an open club, but I think they can do much more in getting police players in who's in the force. It was good enough, because a lot of that guys play at other clubs also. So if he put proper systems in place, he can get a good team.
All right then, folks, let's move now to Police Captain Rudolf Alexander.
Dat is lekker, is altijd lekker om terug te wees, altijd lekker. Especially quality outfits soos vals by. Alles het nou wat 'n team, Super League ouens. Lekker physical up front, die discipline is goed. Het is altijd goed om je op zo'n noem het af te schop. Het is altijd beter, ja. Physicality voor langs en voor alles. En het helpt ook het team, zoals ons upcoming team, lekker te kan galvanize en elkaar te kan vinden in zulke tye. Dan kan ze die man langs jou. Dit is waar as die man se swakpunt, dat hy moet jou game een level moet lig. Ons moet werken aan fitness, soos ek gesê het, fitness. Op die level van die game kan ze niet meer oulie tackle en daai nie. As die fitness bykom, sal die tacklings ook meer optel. En dan moet hy, want as ek het goed wat soft tries geskoof word aan die einde van die dag. Dus ons verwelkom altijd de jong mannen met open arms. Altijd goed om jong, nieuwe ouens, nieuwe flavor. Die mannen brengen altijd iets niet naar die game toe. Strijd om zo terug te ploegen in de gemeenschap om die mannen maar hier op die game te krijgen. Dus motiveert me allemaal om te komen. Allemaal is welkom, ons nooit niemand en dat zijn niemand weg.
Right, welcome back everybody. Fantastic having Captain Rudolph Alexander speaking to us there. Of course, get up and ready, and he's got a big smile on his face. Remember, as I said, Score energy drinks. If you wanted to win yourself a case of Score, 33090. That's all you need to do is SMS the word Score to 33090, and you put yourself in the mix to win a case of Score energy drinks. Congratulations to Shurech Manuel. Shurech, you win a case of Score energy drinks. Someone from Cape Rugby TV is going to be in touch with you shortly. Walk away with a whole case of Score energy drinks. I'm using it all the time. Pre-training, if you want to get yourself a little bit of a boost before your exercise, then a can of Score will certainly do the trick. Well, folks, when we come back from the break, we're going to take a look at the SK Warmers first side. They played against Rawsonville, also at the Police Day in Pinelands. And don't forget, a little bit later during the course of the show, we'll catch up with the Stormers. We'll speak to Dan du Plessis, Stormers Centre, as well as Sergio Peterson and Herschel Jantjes. We had him on the show before, but of course he's very happy at the moment that I think he scored the winning try on Saturday. Would you say, Jerome, that is considered the winning try?
That's definitely, because there wasn't much on at the end there. I think if he would have passed that ball to the back line, anything could have happened because
But one would have to say that it's always the last try in a game that you have to call the winning try.
You have to.
You can't call the second try or the first try.
No, that was the winning try.
Must be the last try.
Yeah, I think he made it difficult because he could have just scored against the pole protectors.
Yeah, I thought about that. Yeah. He could have got in underneath people.
Yeah, he could actually.
We're going to take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll catch up with SK Warmers and Rawsonville, as well as speak to their head coach, Phil Cronje. Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock. Tell your friends. Remember, use the hashtag #WP Club Rugby so that we can find your content and we can share your content. And it also helps in your social media posts, especially for those clubs that are busy promoting their friendlies or pre-season get-togethers. Please tag us. If you don't tag us, it's extremely hard to find your posters and your posts on social media so we can tell everybody else. All right, it's always better to reach 20,000 people than it is to reach a couple of hundred. Right, Super League A, of course, this year is going to be hot. Primrose, Hamilton's, Brackenfell, Paarl, Vix, Tygerberg, False Bay, SK Warmers, UWC and Villages, Union Mill, Stellenbosch, Durban, NTK and UCT. Those are just your teams in Super League A. We'll take a look at the rest a little bit later. Out of that bunch, though, SK Warmers is in the mix, and it's going to be interesting to see how SK Warmers does this year. We'll take a look now in their warm-up match between SK Warmers and Rawsonville. Rawsonville, of course, travelled out of the pool to come and play against the boys. Right, there we go. SK Warmers playing against Rawsonville. Danny, you were just taking a look there. I'm not going to go to Jerome because he knows obviously firsthand what these guys are on in terms of the evening conditioning program. But you mentioned it straight away. You said it looks like there's a bit of a difference in the conditioning.
Most definitely, JP. Firstly, I want to actually just welcome Rawsonville to Cape Rugby TV. And as you know, we have said to Boland that we see them as partners, and so we would like more and more interaction between Boland clubs and Western Province clubs.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for that. Also, with reference to your question, I think that based on the game, you could see that the SK Warmers players were probably more conditioned than that, and that had a lot to do with the interaction between the
Club to Super
Sport Challenge. I was going to say the Club to Vodacom, but
yeah,
because it started there.
But it's the same thing, eh?
Originally, it's the same thing. Yeah. And then obviously the annual interactions that takes place between the club high performance, Jerome them, and club coaches and that. So that's definitely has been fruitful for our clubs.
Jerome, your feeling on the performance there? SK Warmers obviously just getting their feet wet. But come Super League A games, it's going to be another level.
Yeah, it's going to be. But SK, I mean, over the years, they managed to hang in there. A few years ago, they were quite competitive. They almost I think they almost won the league. So yeah, but also this game was pretty much one-sided for them. I mean, there was no defense on Rawsonville's side. But also a good exercise earlier for and also new coach Phil to see who we have, and I think he also rested or not rested. There's a lot of the senior guys who hasn't played in this game.
Yeah, let's catch up with SK Warmers captain Tariq Davids.
You know, it's not easy this time of the year. Traditionally, our communities, the guys take long to pitch up to the fields, so the numbers is a bit thin at the moment. A lot of the senior guys haven't yet come to the party. As you saw today, it's a lot of young guys, but I mean, the score tells the story for itself. The guys are putting up their hands, so the competition is already there. So we just need to keep working hard. The guy mustn't look too much into the score and just keep building. You know, it's always better to get that rush out in your first game. Our friendlies are only going to get tougher. Our first 3 league games is Falls Bay UCT and Marties, so it's not easy at all. So we just need to keep building in the friendlies and hope we move from strength to strength and try and manage the injuries and hopefully we pull it through. Our so-called first team squad, we're quite we're quite aged. Average age probably about 30-31, but there's a lot of young guys coming up, sticking up their hands. A lot of exciting backs. We'll start filtering them in through the year. So. Hopefully the mix between the youth and the experience does the trick for us. I mean, the bonus for these friendlies is especially with the rolling subs. We get to do that, we get to mix up combinations, see who fits where. But then again, I mean, guys mustn't get, overconfident with the score. Once the score starts getting big, we need to use games like this to get our structures right. And then hopefully we just keep grinding.
Tariq Davids was captain there on the day, Jerome. Just give us a little bit of an explanation when Tariq was mentioning there, especially for the folks that are watching and maybe want a little bit more information, the concept of rolling subs. What does that mean?
It means you can take a guy off, and say if you take a loose forward off, and you want to see another guy, you can put him on, and take that guy off, put the other guy on again. So you keep on. Or they don't even stop the game. You just pull a guy, put the guy in, and that's what they mean with the rolling.
Because the normal regulations are once you put someone on and take them off,
you can't go back again.
You can't go back. But in this case, you can come on, go off.
You can, yeah.
Okay,
so I think it's actually good, Mr. Jones. Maybe we must encourage the guys and the referees in the warm-up game so that they can do that.
Yeah. No. Look, we're not prescriptive. So if the two clubs agree, the referee will definitely carry out those kinds of suggestions. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, he still oversees the game with regard to discipline and those things.
Yeah.
But I agree with Jerome. It is an opportunity for coaches to actually evaluate players pre-season, so that when the season starts, and I mean, I heard quite a good interview from Tariq, and Tariq saying their first 3 games I really I wouldn't want to be SK Warmers with that schedule.
Going back to the rolling subs scenario, the nice thing there was also, it's not only just about checking how long the player is playing, but you can move him from one position to another position.
That's true, and it also helps with regard to the assessing of fitness, and also with the heat.
Yeah.
So you then actually give a player a rest while the game's on, and then put him back on. So there's a lot of merit in having rolling subs in the pre-season friendlies.
It does also make the game a little bit more interesting, a little bit more exciting. I think we also saw. Did we see rolling subs during the Currie Cup last year?
We had rolling subs during the Super Sport Challenge.
The Super Sport Challenge.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and also JP, it speeds up the game.
Yeah.
So a guy don't have to stay 2 minutes on the field when he have an injury.
Yeah.
He goes off immediately and the game continues.
Yeah, no, I think that's very interesting. If you look at the concept of sport is becoming more and more demanding in terms of the speed of the sport, making it more exciting. We saw the world of cricket move to T20 and 50 overs over the years. And if you look at gridiron football, you can bring players on and off. And in fact, for those of you that don't know, the average play in a gridiron football, American football, lasts, Jerome, how long?
American football game.
4.5 minutes.
Yeah. Right, folks, we're going to take an ad break. It won't be 4.5
Stick
minutes.
to rugby, Mr. Jones.
The average play in an American gridiron football game is about 3.5 seconds. Would you believe that? We'll be back after the break. In fact, we're not going to the break just yet. We've got to catch up with Phil Cronje. He's the coach over at SK Warmers.
It's difficult this time of the year. Obviously, numbers-wise, we still struggling. But the last 2 weeks it was improvement of the numbers. Today, first outing, first game was tough. Second game, most of the guys came to the party. Like I said, today wasn't anything for us in it. We're planning from next week. We just want to get the first friendly out of the way, and then we will build from there. Our mindset is right for this season. Our goal sets we've got there. We're planning end up top 5. We just don't want it full numbers. We want to make a name for ourselves in the top 5. We know it's going to be tough. Up front we will be a little bit shy, but at the back I think we should be sorted. Yes, we kept the core of the guys from last season. But yeah, and there's a lot of youngsters that stuck their hand up today. And so it will be tough for next week to set out the 2 squads, but we're looking forward to it. Next Saturday, our first friendly, or second friendly, and we're looking forward to it.
Right, welcome back everybody. For those of you that have just joined us, Cape Rugby TV, every Wednesday from 9 to 10. Now this coming weekend, there's going to be women's rugby at City Park. There's a festival of women's rugby for juniors and seniors. Starts at 2 p.m. and finishes about 5 or so. It's a fantastic opportunity for you to get the girls, the young girls exposed to the world of rugby. I know Western Province Rugby are currently heavily promoting women's rugby, and we're going to be doing that over the next few weeks, is getting the ladies to join clubs so you can join the Western Province girls rugby side. And for more info you can contact Sam Malazzi at wprugby.co.za, or you can call him on his mobile 079 884 3600. Alternatively, we will post it on the Cape Rugby TV Facebook page as well on the Western Province Club Rugby website about where it is that you can find a club for women's rugby, as well as more information on this Women's Rugby Festival this coming Saturday at City Park. Starts at 2 p.m. So get down to City Park. I think it's a fantastic opportunity, long overdue, that we get more members of the public going to watch women's rugby and support women's rugby and sign up at a club to play women's rugby. Right, folks, welcome back. It's Cape Rugby TV. As you know, lots of friendlies have been happening over the last few weeks. Let's quickly take a look at some of the results. As you know, we went out to see the teams at Police. Over the weekend, then, it was Scottsdene. They came away with a 62 points to 8 win over Whistling Wheels. Hands and Hearts 48-17 over Mumray. Franschhoek beating Good Hopes over in the Boerland to 52-14. Grabo with a win over All Saints. And Kraaifontein beating Bekweni 70 points to 0. Right, so it's early days there, Jerome. Early days. Everybody's sort of kind of still testing the water, getting a feel for it. If we look at some of those results, Scottsdene against Whistling Wheels. I think Whistling Wheels might be playing against False Bay. Aren't they playing False Bay soon? Had a feeling they were going to have a friendly there. But if we look at at those games, it's just part of the fun, getting ready for things.
Yeah, and it's good to see, as Mr. Jones was saying, that the Boland Club and the Western Province Club interact. And last year, the Province guys went to the Boland, and it's good to see that the Boland guys, because we have our fields, or some of the fields has got grass now, so those guys come and play here. And also, if you look at the scores, then it's the province clubs are just a bit too strong for, except that Grabo score is a bit too strong for the Boland clubs.
Yeah, folks, more friendlies then coming up this weekend. We've got 2 pages of friendlies. Let's quickly run through them. Fora up against Violets, Paneel Villages against Young Peoples, Franschhoek and Delicious. Whistling Wheels go to Silvertree, Tygerberg take on Collegians, Maisi Pumelele and Titans, Bellville and Mamre, Elsie's Noordlikes, Brackenfell, Busy Bees, Kuilsrivier, Eerste Rivier, Scottsdene and Kalbaskraal, Hands and Hearts and Vineyards, Hamadeers and Retreat, Wraithby and St. George's, SK and Caledon, Belha up against Stelkor, Carlamore up against Newton, Windmill United take on Peril United, Hamlets are up against Atlantis, Oostars United up against Van der Stel. Jerome, there's a couple of, or Danny, there's a couple of derby, pre-season derby matches here. I mean, and look at all these friendlies. This is quite exciting.
The one is, I see Elsie's River against Noordlikes.
Elsie's Noordlikes, that's just across the road, right?
Versus Lakey. It will be a nice game for them. But yes, I'm happy to see so many rugby games, JP. It's elating. It's great. Season has started unofficially.
It looks like a lot of these teams have kind of, to get the ball rolling, chosen the neighbours.
Yes, I suppose it's easy and with reducing costs. So I think that's the start. And
this is not the neighbours that you find at Grand West. We're talking about neighbours in the neighbourhood.
No, it's not the neighbours that you find at Grand West.
Yeah, not. I think a good game there is a good test for Busy Bees in Brackenfell. So there's going to be a tester for them to see where they are. It's good that they play sort of a stronger side.
Well, I'm quite interested in Hands and Hearts Vineyards. I think that's going to be an interesting game.
No, definitely.
Maybe.
I mean, no, definitely.
But if you want to talk about playing it just across the fence, then I think Hamlets and Atlantis is going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, that's also true. Hamlets and Atlantis, they both play in our league, so it's not across the fence,
Yeah.
But definitely the one there, Kaimore versus Newton, that's across. That's going to be a cracker.
Right, folks, Dulux Maitland is, of course, number 30 Kuberg Road. Remember, you can get all your paint products there for the best prices and the absolute best service. The Specialist Paint Centre at number 30 Kuberg Road. You can see them right behind me here, just over Voortrekker Road. Pop in there at Dulux Maitland, your Specialist Paint Centre. They've got everything that you need. We're going to take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll catch up with Kraaifontein's pre-season training, as well as the DHL Stormers behind the scenes. Back in a sec. There's nothing better than live TV. All the years that I remember being on radio with the Nigel Pearces and the Guy McDonalds and everybody else, Lee Downs and so on. Folks, you can imagine that what you hear on the microphone is one thing, but when those microphones go off and the music's playing, I can tell you behind the scenes in the studio, it was always the best entertainment. And that's exactly what's happening here right now. And you can imagine, Danny, there's something about rugby people that can tell stories.
Definitely, Jeffrey. But coming back to live and all those things, is that why they called you Crash?
That's right. That goes back to the days of Mark Gilman. I didn't come up with that. And then Mark Gilman and the guys came up with that. But that was, now you're bringing it back a long time. I didn't know you knew about that. Yeah.
Rugby's a small world.
Rugby's a small world, yeah. Those were the back to the days of the urban kaboom. Anyway, folks, for those of you that watched Good Hope FM, or you couldn't watch it, you could listen to it. Although when we started back in those days, you were able to watch it because I used to pre-record and then send a little video out on Facebook to tell you what was coming up in the Power Hour. And in fact, that's where Cape Rugby TV originated, because back in those days, we were the first to start with that. We started with a Club Rugby radio show with Herman Abrams back in the day. And that was where Cape Rugby TV was born, was giving exposure to club rugby back in those days. And we simply said, put a camera on, go live. And we'll have TV for club rugby. That was absolutely fantastic. Kraaifontein were up in their pre-season training over the weekend. They're busy playing in Super League C. They have, of course, been relegated, but that's not going to stop the Gees as the Kraai roll out and get ready. Let's take a look at their pre-season training. Pre-season training at Kraaifontein. Of course, they were relegated from 2018 into 2019, now playing in Super League C. Let's quickly look at the teams that they will be playing against in Super League C. We're going to go through it rather quickly. Kyla Molanga, Blue Stars, Strand United. Maddenburg, Hansenarts, Benil, Scottsdene, Morningstar, Strand, Young Wesley's, Wraithby, Kraaifontein, Elsies and Blue Jets. Right, Jerome, there's going to be a couple of tough teams in that league. Super League C is not going to be an easy league for Kraaifontein this year.
No, it's definitely not easy, but I think Kraaifontein, if I look at the numbers that are there at the field and what they're doing, they look like a team to watch out this year.
Yeah, let's catch up with Kraaifontein coach Keith Tinnison and hear some of their plans for the season.
Look, as a club that's dropped down to 1C, it's not been easy. We've had to rebuild and lay foundations. And I think the club, being a community club as we are, that's what we want to get back, is getting the crowd and the community involved and the people around involved. So that's what we're really working on, is getting that foundation going again. Every first game you play, any game, pre-season game, is an important one, just for the guys to start feeling each other, and just everybody wants to play ball, and that's why we're on the practice field for 6 weeks before our first pre-season game. So it was nice. The guys had a good run. As Freek said earlier, the score is a number. It was just the guys were out there, we put some basic structures in place, and those structures were carried out, and that you can't ask more from a team, is to follow structures. The coaches put the hours in and the players delivered on the Saturday, which was nice. Well, as I said, the derby games we've got is great. I mean, I'm hoping the people in the area will wake up and come support us. I hope we have buses full. I mean, how better than people working around the corner speaking to a son that plays for Kraaifontein and the other one playing for Hands and Hearts. I mean, I'm hoping it creates a bit of a buzz in the neighbourhood and have the newspapers talk about it. So it can only be good for us. I mean, the tougher it is, the better for us, and the better for the community in an overall scenario.
Well, we just had our first pre-season friendly this past Saturday, and the turnout's been well over the past few weeks. We've had a couple of new faces, a whole lot of new senior guys, and I think we'll be doing all right. We just need the boys to come down, and the coaching that we have here is fantastic. We could see in the start of the pre-season, a lot of the guys they weren't coming out, but a lot of us old guys, we called them and we said, listen, we need to all stick together, especially in this coming season, and from there we've seen a lack of turnout. So let's see if we can keep it going. We're looking forward to those. I think those are going to test our character for the coming season. I think Busy Bees, and I think we got Langa as well.
they're all big clubs, they're all hard boys. So we're looking forward to those games, and as I said, it will test our character to moving forward. Yeah, we got a couple of derbies, 4 if we're playing home and away, but we're looking forward to it, and I think the guys will be up for it by the time it comes. But the thing is, we need to work hard because we know what type of league this is. The guys like to play running rugby, so it's going to be up and down the whole day. So we need the fitness to be there if we want to compete in Super League C.
Welcome back, everybody. Right, so lots of fun and games there. The DHL Stormers were, of course, in action against the Lions over the weekend. Very happy with the result there to get the ball rolling. Jerome, your feelings on the game?
Yeah, it was JP is a good result for them. I mean, they needed it. You don't want to start your campaign. The first one was a loss, and also important is to win your home games. So they've done well to manage to get that game. I think the first half they were not up to it, but the second half they upped the gear a bit. And I think the first half the discipline let the Stormers down with cards and with unnecessary penalties. But they managed to up their game, and it was a good result for them.
Danny, you were of course on the side of the field. We're hoping that the fans come out and support the Stormers. Is it? Surely it's not fair to read too much into the first game of the season, the Bulls. I mean, I was quite surprised. I know the result didn't go in the Stormers' way, and it went out in quite a big margin against the Stormers. But I was very surprised to see just how critical everybody was after only the first game.
JP, I think a lot has to do with the expectations that the Stormers created themselves after the Cape Town game. But we can't change history, but we certainly can change the future. Yeah. And I think Saturday was a good game. The Stormers, as Jerome said, you could see they were a bit apprehensive, with coming off the previous week, and they struggled a bit, made some silly mistakes, but they pulled it right in the second half. I have to commend the team, and then a special mention to the Sean van Goodwood. It was great to see Eben back for the Stormers after almost a 1.5 year break, and Eben played as if his life depended on
I'll tell you something, when he came onto the field, I thought, Neiman, I thought 15 players are going to run out the tunnel on the corner. He was ready to destroy.
Yeah. Like on the field like a flipping...
He wasn't going to take nonsense from anybody.
Bat out of hell.
He was there going hell for leather.
Yeah.
You're right, folks. Let's catch up with Dan du Plessis. In my opinion, Dan du Plessis is a game breaker. I love the way that this guy plays.
No, it was obviously very enjoyable to be back at Newlands. The guys really enjoyed it. Obviously, scored right at the end, so that made it a lot more memorable. And yeah, obviously on to the next one. Forget about Saturday. It's gone past, and Sharks this weekend, which is going to be another massive game. Obviously, I came on, I think, with about 15 minutes to go. And I think for me the main thing was just to keep the guys positive and tell them we're gonna score. Don't worry about it. We're gonna score. They're gonna crack sometime. And I mean, I think there was almost 2-3 tries that we almost went over the line with them all, and then twice in the left-hand corner. And the chat on the field was just, boys, it's coming. It's still gonna come. And I mean, that was 85 minutes into the game, and so the guys were always positive. And obviously, when that ball came out and Herschel went for the try line, it was a good feeling. Looking forward to it. I think the Sharks have had a good start to this season. I think two wins, and obviously we lost our first one and a good one last week. But I mean, none of the first 2 games matter anymore. It's all about this weekend, and I think we have a good side that we've put together, and have put together a good pre-season as well. The guys are looking fit and sharp, and it's all about rocking up on the day now. And yeah, I think we're expecting rain in Durban, so it will all be about controlling the game and playing tactically, and yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV. We all love the fact that Dan du Plessis and the boys are staying so positive. In my opinion, the guys are firmly rooted and supporting the fans. In fact, they support Cape Town, and well, I'm not quite sure how one measures the coaches or the players after just one game. I think one needs to take a few more days to understand, a few more games before you make these calls. Right, let's catch up now with Herschel Jantjies and Sergio Peterson.
Tough, maar dankzij aan die ouwe langs mij dat je W gekry wat ek gesoek het. So baie positives uit wat 'n man kan uitvat daar so maar baie man te werk vir die naweek. It was nice, baie nice geweest. Ek kan officially sê vandag ek is 'n storme. So ek het dan een kep agter die rug. Nou met my tweede season nou hierso maar ek het die eerste kep vir die stormes gekry en ek is baie dankbaar en happy oor hy.
Regtig het niks deur my kop gegaan nie. Al wat deur my kop gegaan het, ek moet net die bal terugkry want ons kan nie die bal nie verloor nie. En toe ek opkyk, toe sien ek dat Kwag gaan nog skram. En ja, nie bietjie weier was van die skram af, toe ek maar net gegou vir dit en dit gewerk. Ek dink die wen was ons belangrik, ons het dit nodig gehad. Obviously ons was onder baie druk na die Bulle game. En ons wou iets bewys het, so die wen was vir ons baie belangrik going forward. Ek is Herschel Jantjies and you watching Cape Rugby TV.
There we go, folks. Herschel Jantjies. Jerome, you called it. Herschel Jantjies.
Proud of him, JP. I mean, a guy who played last year or previous year played under 21 rugby.
Yeah.
And managed to score the winning try. So, yeah, I always knew that there's bigger things for Herschel Jantjies. And I mean, it won't stop there. We'll see much more of Herschel Jantjies.
But just like I said, that you can't judge the first loss. If we're going to be fair, then we also got to say to players and teams, there's still a long season ahead. So
yeah, there is. And I mean, for Herschel to go on the field and to every time if he goes onto the field, then there's a change.
Something
because
happens.
He's quick. The defense need to watch him. So hopefully he'll get a start somewhere and then prove to the coaches that he can play. He can start.
Danny, I'm going to put it square on your shoulders this weekend. Please understand that after watching Bismarck du Plessis on the side of the field jumping up and down in a crazy manner after winning the Currie Cup at Newlands a few years ago, can you please guarantee me that the Stormers will have a win this weekend?
JP, what I can guarantee you is going to be a tough, hard game. The Stormers are going to go out there and do their best. And as Jerome knows, the top coaches, they never speak about winning, but they speak about doing the right thing at the right time and taking the opportunity. And if you do, and defending well, and if you do those things, you'll find that you're ahead in the game.
Right, I will say that the Stormers are going to win. They're going to win by 11. That'll be my Super Brew prediction coming this weekend. Remember, you can find the Cape Rugby TV Super Brew pool. Just go and join us, and then you have to say that the team will win, because you have to post your colours to the mast, so to speak. You've got to give us all your predictions, and on a weekly basis, we look at the top 10. Unfortunately, we can't look at the top 10 in the Cape Rugby TV Super Brew pool tonight because we just have run out of time. Jerome, part of it, thanks very much for joining us here on Cape Rugby TV. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah, JP, and lots of rugby Saturday coming. Everybody's playing, so I'll see how I can divide myself into go into a few.
Well, there's so many friends, you're going to divide yourself into 50. Yeah, Mr. Jones, Danny, thanks very much. It's been great having you here.
Thank you, JP. It's been great to be here.
As always, as always. All right, folks, that's a wrap from us here at Cape Rugby TV. Don't forget, get down to MCAM 24-hour pharmacy on the corner of the N1 and Durban Road. They've got all your pharmaceutical needs, all your sports nutrition needs. There's a cafe upstairs, at least a restaurant, and a place where you can do your nails and your hair, a salon. Really fantastic. Get down to MCAM 24-hour pharmacy. They've got free parking 24 hours a day. That's a wrap. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.